All right, let's talk about those GCSE maths construction questions. You know the ones. They can feel a bit tricky, but honestly, they're some of the easiest marks you can get, if you know the secret. So today, we're going to crack the code and turn that confusion into guaranteed points. You've probably been there, right? The question asks you to bisect a line. You draw what looks like a perfect line, smack bang in the middle, but when you get your results back, you haven't got full marks. It's so frustrating. So what's going on? Are you actually leaving easy marks on the table? Well, let's find out. So we're going to zero in on this one specific example. It's question 3 from a Pearson Edexcel higher tier paper. Now the answer is just a drawing, but look over at the mark scheme. It's worth 2 marks and it's listed as B2. And trust me, that little code and the wording next to it, that is the key to everything.
Okay, before we even think about picking up a compass, we have to learn to speak the examiner's language. Seeing B2 written next to your question isn't just random letters and numbers, it's a massive clue. So what is it actually telling us?
Well, according to the official guidance, a B mark is what's called an unconditional accuracy mark. All that really means is you get points for the answer being spot on. You don't need to show a bunch of calculations. For a construction question, the accuracy is in the drawing itself. The picture you leave on the page is your method and your answer all rolled into one.
And for this question, it's not just one B mark, it's 2 of them, B2. And that 2 is super important. It means the examiner is looking for 2 very specific, distinct things to be perfect in your drawing before they'll give you full credit.
Right then, let's walk through the perfect construction. How do we make absolutely sure we tick both of those boxes and walk away with that B2 safely in our pocket?
Let's look at the exact wording from the mark scheme for those 2 marks. This is where the magic happens. It doesn't just say for a correct bisector. It says for a correct construction with all relevant arcs drawn. That last part, that's where the second mark is hiding in plain sight.
So here's how you do it perfectly. First, you put your compass point on one end of the line and swing an arc above and below. Then, and this is absolutely crucial, without changing the width of your compass, you do the exact same thing from the other end. You'll get these 2 nice points where the arcs cross. The last step is just to take your ruler and draw a straight line connecting them.
And boom, that right there is a perfect B2 answer. You've got the correct line bisecting the original one, that's your first B mark, and you've left all your construction arcs clearly on the page for the examiner to see. That's your second B mark. Full credit. Job done.
Okay, but what about the near miss? It is so common for students to get just 1 mark here, a B1. So what is the tiny difference that separates 1 mark from 2?
Well, the mark scheme tells us exactly how. It says you can get 1 mark for a couple of reasons. Either you draw all the right arcs, but you forget to actually draw the final line. Or, and this is the one that catches almost everyone, you draw a perfect line, but you've rubbed out your arcs or just didn't draw them clearly enough.
Let's just put it side by side to make it super clear. For the full 2 marks, the B2, you need the finish line and the arcs. For a single mark, the B1, you've got one or the other, but not both. It sounds like a tiny detail, but it's literally the difference between getting 100% and 50% on the question.
So here it is, the most important thing to remember. For any construction question, those arcs you draw, they are your working out. They are the proof. They show the examiner that you didn't just guess or measure with a ruler, they prove you used the proper mathematical method.
So, if you only remember one single thing from this entire explainer, please let it be this. I'm going to give you a golden rule for every single construction question you ever face again.
It's this simple. No arcs, no marks. To be a little more precise, maybe no arcs, no full marks. Leaving your arcs on the page isn't just a good idea, it's non-negotiable. They aren't just part of the process, they are a fundamental part of the final answer. And that's it. See how just by understanding what the mark scheme is asking for, you unlock all the points. So my final question to you is this. Now that you know exactly what examiners are looking for, what other questions, like bisecting an angle or constructing loci, could you apply this exact same thinking to?